But why don't we start with energy? So money is the energy in the system. So how do I store energy? Well, if I had $1 million, I could pump water uphill with the
Mm-hmm.
$1 million. I could convert the $1 million into electricity, put it in a pump, and I can pump water uphill into a reservoir. And now all the water behind the dam represents potential energy. By the way, if I'm lucky, right, the force of nature just dropped the rainwater into the reservoir behind the dam, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to pump it up. So now I've got $1 million worth of water. Now, why is the water energy? It wouldn't be energy at sea level. It's energy at altitude,
Mm-hmm.
right? The higher you are, the more energy you have. If you're 1,000 feet up with 1 million pounds of water or 1 million gallons of water, 1,000 feet up, that's more energy than 100 feet up,
Mm-hmm.
right? The effect, the energy is the difference between where the water is going to flow versus where it is. That's potential energy is going to be given off, and ultimately what you're doing is you're channeling gravitational energy,
Mm-hmm.
right? The real energy came from gravity, and the water is the fluid. If I'm flying an airplane at 50,000 feet, I have more energy than at 5,000 feet, right? How do you know? I just point the nose down and the plane starts to accelerate, right? And I pick up velocity. So I'm converting potential energy into kinetic energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I wanted to move energy via another medium, I can move it through air pressure. Sound is acoustic energy.
Mm-hmm.
Ah! That's more energy, right? If I yell, I'm putting more energy into the system, right? Less energy, more energy, right? Singing, right? What are we doing? We're listening to someone perform music. We're watching them do
Express
do
energy.
an extraordinary performance art on energy.
Mm-hmm.
Look at a guitar, right? And think about Tesla said, "You want to understand the universe? Think in terms of vibration,
Mm-hmm.
right, and frequency and energy." So a guitar has got a fretboard, and when you're playing the guitar, you're actually changing the frequency with which the strings vibrate. One hand is actually putting a bit of energy into the system, but the real trick is change the length of the strings so that the strings vibrate at different resonating frequencies, and then you get the chord, you get the music. So any you can use many mediums to move energy. When sound is moving through the air, right? The air is the currency.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is it a good currency or bad currency? Well, the sound moves through the water faster than through the air. Water is a better currency than air. But the sound moves through a piece of wood or solid faster than the water. And the stiffer the solid, the faster the sound moves
Mm-hmm.
and the more efficiently it moves. So you can pick any kind of medium to move energy. Electricity is a way to move it. Sound is a way to move it. Water is a way to move energy. You have a certain amount of energy, in your body, and your blood, right, is the currency that's moving the energy through your body,
Mm-hmm.
right, and it works to a certain level. So fiat currencies are a method of moving energy. Um,
That's what
all
I wanted to get
all of
to.
these mediums have dissipation, like they dissipate energy, right? That's why well, if I shine a light through a vacuum, it will travel further than if I shine a light through a wet blanket.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why? Same energy dissipated faster, right, through a solid than through the air. But you can figure out that we can see stars that are light years away, but you can't see candles that are 10 miles away
Mm-hmm.
because the air doesn't it dissipates energy faster. So all of these things dissipate energy at a certain rate. The US dollar right now dissipating energy maybe at the rate of 15% a year, about. Um, but in Argentina or in Turkey, they're dissipating energy at the rate of 70% a year. And the best managed U.S. Currency, the best managed at a given year, maybe it was dissipating energy at 7% a year. And right now in Japan, the Japanese currency has lost 19%. Well, let's say the U.S. dollar strengthened 19% against the yen
Against it.
in the last 6 months. Okay, so if the U.S. dollar is weakened 8.5% against consumer goods, and if it's weakened 20% against property, like single family homes, and if it's weakened 33% against oil, but it's strengthened 19% against the yen, you can see that the yen is losing 60%, 50 to 60% of its energy in 6 months against a commodity like oil. Now there are all sorts of individual effects. So oil is probably going up in price because the scarcity of oil has been increased because of the war. But if we took U.S. single-family homes and said it looks like the inflation rate of the U.S. dollar against scarce desirable assets is about 20%, then you can see that the effective inflation rate of the Japanese yen against scarce desirable assets is 35%, maybe 40%. Becomes tricky to measure, but that's what happens. So the reason that I don't want to hold the currency forever is because it's bleeding off energy over time. But the reason that I want to hold it for a day is because there are massive network effects. Yeah. When I walk into a pizzeria, they don't price the pizza in Apple stock, and they don't price it in Bitcoin. They don't price it in ounces of gold. They price it in dollars. When I go to Europe, when the EU formed, one of the interesting things that happened is in the 10 years after the EU formed, most menus in the European Union started listing products in the local language and English. English became the second language on all menus of most nice restaurants all throughout Europe. And then, of course, they started listing prices in euros. Before that, they listed the menu in French and francs.
Mm-hmm.
So, you had a standardization on a common currency and a standardization on a common language. And that facilitates the medium of the process of exchange in the near term. But the price you pay is, the loss of your local culture, the loss of your local language, and the loss of control over your local currency, and the increase in the power of the centralized bureaucracy.